7:35 on LBC. Russia has scrapped this Saturday deadline to resume flows via a major gas supply route to Germany. You'll have read about this. It's deepening Europe's difficulties, of course, in securing winter fuel. Saying it had found faults. Russia said they found faults in the Nord Stream 1 pipeline during maintenance. It was the most predictable thing. Look, they're clearly weaponising the gas supply to Europe. Nord Stream 1, which runs under the Baltic Sea, had been due to resume operating at 1 o'clock GMT Saturday after a 3-day halt for maintenance. But Gazprom, the state-controlled firm with a monopoly on Russian gas exports via pipeline, said on Friday it couldn't safely restart deliveries until it had fixed an oil leak found in a vital turbine. I don't know how much comes through there each day, whether it's sort of hundreds of millions of pounds worth of revenues, but that has now stopped. Russia have not given a new time frame. So what's going on with this? James Rogers, co-founder and director of research at the Council on Geostrategy. Hello, James. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Good to be with you.
It's fairly clear that Russia are retaliating for sanctions, right?
Yes, that's been going on for some months now, since the EU and Germany began to take decisions to try and wean themselves off of Russian oil and also gas. So I heard you say a few moments ago how much comes through the pipeline at the moment. Well, it's actually been reduced quite substantially since June. The Russians have reduced the amount of gas coming through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline by some 75% initially, from 170 million cubic meters a day of gas to 40 million cubic meters, and then it was cut again in July to just 20 million cubic meters per day. So a significant.
How much
reduction.
does a cubic meter mean financially? How much does it cost?
Well, that depends. But what we do know is that the gas price has increased by 450% since this time last year. So there's been a significant increase in the price of gas. This is being driven not only by the reduction in gas coming through the Nord Stream pipeline, but also on the EU's attempts through its Repower EU strategy from May 2022, and also its Fit for 55 policy from July 2021 to reduce its consumption of Russian gas. And of course, insofar as there is now less Russian gas, this means that EU countries are trying to look on open international markets to consume gas from elsewhere, whether that's from countries like Norway or also liquid natural gas from around the world, particularly from the Gulf and the United States. And in turn, that's driving up the cost of gas, which then has an impact on the UK, even though around half of our gas comes from North Sea supplies.
Have we upped our take from the North Sea? Upped our take is not a technical term. Produced. Has that gone up this year? Have we, or our energy suppliers, it's not energy suppliers, it's producers, isn't it? Have they taken more oil and gas from the North Sea, even though it might be more expensive to do so this year, in response to what's happening in Ukraine?
We're certainly attempting to, and we're also attempting to increase our liquid natural gas consumption from overseas, particularly from the United States, but also the Gulf. But the problem is that the supplies, or the overall quantity of gas in the North Sea has basically peaked. It peaked back in 1999 and has been reducing ever since. So that forces us to look on international markets to consume the gas that we need. And the additional problem there is that we've become over time increasingly reliant on gas as a main component of our energy mix. So around 42% of our energy mix now comes from gas, which is quite a substantial amount.
James Rogers becomes our Prime Minister tomorrow. What does he do regarding our energy security, energy strategy going forward? What do we in the UK need? Keep the lights on, keep industry turning, get bills down. You're in charge.
Well, we're already doing many of the right things. I would increase the amount of energy that comes from renewable sources, particularly wind, but I'd also invest heavily into nuclear energy, because that gives us a degree of sovereignty over our supply, and therefore it reduces our dependency on international gas markets, which, as we've seen, can rapidly increase in cost over a very short period of time, because we're increasingly reliant on suppliers that are not necessarily our best friends, i.e. the Russians, but also countries in the Middle East. So we need to increase our sovereignty over our energy mix, and that means, I think, increasing the amount of renewables in our energy composition, but also switching increasingly to nuclear energy.
Okay. James, thank you very much. James Rogers, co-founder and director of research at the Council on Geostrategy.